When I was on Wall Street, my entire life's goal was to make more money than the next guy.
Sam Polk was formerly a top dog at one of the world's top hedge funds.
When I was 27, I'd been on Wall Street for 5 or 6 years, and I was at this club in Las Vegas, and it was this, super exclusive club, and there was $1,000 bottles of champagne and beautiful women all around. My life finally looked like I'd always wanted it to look, but I basically felt empty.
So basically I waited 6 months for this application.
Really?
And I got it, and I turned it in, and then it seemed like an eternity. I was just waiting and waiting. And finally, I got a call.
Got a call to join the Los Angeles nonprofit Grocery Ships program, started by Sam Polk.
I started Grocery Ships when I sort of came to understand that people were living in these things called food deserts, where there's very little produce for sale and tons of fast food.
Grocery Ships is a 6-month scholarship to buy healthy groceries, learn to cook them, and to share.
There's a box of Kleenex in the center because a lot of time is devoted to sharing about family, about body issues, about self-esteem. And so we have yet to see a group where you start talking about those issues and somebody doesn't burst into tears.
I need my box right now, because I'm not kidding.
Really?
When I start, yes, because just to be able to tell people about my food disorder, I let so much out in that circle. Yeah, we went through a lot of stuff together. Whatever I was going through, my Grocery Ships family went through it with me.
Grocery Ships is expanding in L.A., but to Sam Polk, it's only prelude to his new venture, Everytable. He's just opened the first outpost of what he hopes will be a nationwide chain of restaurants, dishing out healthy food, furiously fast and challengingly cheap.
So that means in this neighborhood, which is South Los Angeles, where per capita income is $13,000 a year, and life expectancy is 10 years lower than more affluent areas, we price the meals at $4.
$4 is a great price here compared to fast food, which is the predominant option.
David Foster also left a rich career in finance to join Sam Polk. They're about to open a second Everytable in upscale downtown L.A., $8 a meal.
But $8 is also a great price compared to what's available in the healthy, fast casual space downtown.
So it's $8 versus $4 for exactly the same food?
That's right. It's basically making sure that everyone can afford healthy foods.
The same healthy food, prepared in the same central kitchen to keep costs low. And here's the key innovation, sold at higher prices in wealthier neighborhoods to make up for the super skinny margins in poor ones.
In a world where inequality is clearly growing and becoming to be seen as structural, we think that this is the time for a new business that questions that fundamental assumption that prices should be the same for everyone.
This is one of the dreams of all sellers, right, is price discrimination. You want to charge people what they're actually willing to pay as opposed to just have one price across the board.
We're not price discriminating in the sense of trying to make as much money off of each customer as possible. We're actually kind of the opposite. We're saying we don't need to make much, if any, money on a lot of our customers, because what's driving us is not just having a successful, viable company, but more importantly, solving this problem that afflicts a lot of people.
Surprised that two guys from Wall Street are doing this?
Yes.
Deidre Dixon's foundation feeds the homeless, getting leftovers from Everytable just one day old.
There's not too many places around in our community, unfortunately, where you can get salads, you can get these meals. So yes, so that two guys from Wall Street can come down into South LA and say there's a need here that needs to be met by way of food and meet that need, I am very surprised, but grateful.
Like other entrepreneurs we've covered, trying to bring good food to the desert, in Philadelphia, in Boston, Polk sees the need everywhere.
Eventually, we'd like to see an Everytable store in every neighborhood in the country.
Thousands?
I would say tens of thousands. We have over 50 investors, including some of the biggest venture capital funds in the country.
Including many of their high-flying former colleagues. But despite the enthusiasm for do-good ideas like this, people aren't exactly leaving Wall Street in droves for more meaningful careers.
I think that we all have inside us both ambitions, which are things that we want for ourselves, money, power, prestige, and we all have aspirations to contribute or make the world a better place. It just so happens that we live in a culture as a whole where ambitions are celebrated more than aspirations, and it's almost like Wall Street is the most distilled part of that culture.
And like any culture, it reinforces its norms in casual conversation.
What is your net worth? How many sticks have you made this year?
How many sticks?
You call $1 million a stick on Wall Street. So you say, I'm up 10 sticks to say I have 10 million in profits this year. My bonus my last year on Wall Street was more than my mom, a nurse practitioner midwife, had made for her entire life. And I was 30 years old.
It had taken 3 years after the emptiness epiphany in the Vegas nightclub, but at 30, as he explained in For the Love of Money, a New York Times op-ed piece that went viral and has now been turned into a book,
I came to understand that even though that billionaire siren song was really attractive, that in another way, that came to seem like a good way to waste your life. You go to Wall Street and you make all this money, and then you're 70 years old and you're on your deathbed, and people...
Hey, wait a second, not 70 on your deathbed. How about upping that number just a bit?
90 on your deathbed. But at the end of the day, I felt like I wanted to be truly proud of what I'd done with my life.
As for David Foster,
there are a lot of smart people working in finance, and I'd go as far to say that there are too many smart people working in finance, and that the value I was adding versus a replacement player was kind of negligible. I thought that there was something out there in the world, a bigger problem that needed solving beyond being another person working in the private equity industry.
Or another chef cooking for the 1%.
Hi, my name is Craig Hobson. I'm the executive chef here at Le Cirque restaurant in New York.
Hobson went from haute cuisine to Everytable.
Could be thousands of people a day that buy the Everytable meals, and so, the audience is unlimited. Le Cirque, not so much.
And Hobson, too, speaks in sound bites that would sound hokey if they weren't so obviously earnest.
It's great to be able to be proud of what I'm doing and to be able to give back to the people that really need it and to make a difference in the world.
And speaking of hokey lines, make a difference they do.
Bon appetit.